Yo, what's good? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. So, Biden has declared that he's going to go head on and give it up. He's throwing in the towel. He's going home. He's going to take his Geritol. He's going to maybe go fishing if he don't forget how to put the lure on. He said enough is enough. Damn it, I'm just going to bed.
So what the French toast is going to think about?
So, yeah, I'm stupid. I know. But yeah, though, man. All right. So, yeah, it's been a long time since we had a president to bow out, things like that. And so of course, history does repeat itself. If this is not proving that history repeats itself, not exactly the same way, but in different ways and things like that. So we're going here now. Let's go ahead on. Let's dive off into this. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Good afternoon. I'm Rachel Scott at ABC headquarters here in New York. We are coming on the air at this hour with breaking news. President Biden has just announced that he is ending his re-election bid. Just moments ago, the president tweeted out, "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision." There are still so many questions yet to be decided and so little time before those questions need to be figured out. So I want to go right away to our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl. John, we are just 100 days out from the November election. Pressure was building on the president to step aside. Now he is announcing that he has.
Rachel, it's an extraordinary moment in American history. This is the first time we have seen a sitting president bow out of re-election since Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1968. And it comes, unlike Johnson's move, which happened in January of that year, it comes after he has already gone through a primary process, after he has already effectively won the Democratic nomination, which now raises the huge questions, as you allude to, of what happens next. In his letter announcing this extraordinary decision, he mentions his vice president, Kamala Harris. He says, "I want to thank my vice president, Kamala Harris, for being an extraordinary partner." But he makes no reference about what he will do in terms of an endorsement. Will he endorse? Will he not endorse? Will there be an open process? What happens next? He says he will talk to the nation in the coming days more about his decision. But now the Democrats have to figure out what happens. Who replaces Joe Biden as the Democratic candidate for president?
Donate plasma.
And yeah, that's the thing. That's the issue. That's the problem that we're all trying to figure out. What's going to happen next? How is this going to go down? Of course, this is a huge issue right now. Like the dude just said, the gentleman just said, when Lyndon Baines, when he bowed out, it was way before they did the primaries, way before they did, they did anything, and yeah, he's already had the endorsement to reelect, all types of stuff going on here. So yes, now that he's deciding to go home and sit down, as he should. And yes, I'm sorry, Jill. Yeah, you're gonna have to go sit down too as well. Sorry, Jill. Yeah, you gotta go. Use that medical degree to take care of Joe for the time that you need to take care of Joe. Okay. So yes, this is going to be a huge issue because of course rumors are flying around that nobody's really trying to endorse Kamala Harris. For whatever reason, they have their own internal issues with that lady. So we're trying to figure this out. We're trying to wonder here what's going to come up next. Let's go here now. Let's see what this report has to say. Obviously, I think Trump had something to say about this situation. Let's go here now and see what's up.
ABC's editorial producer, John Santucci. John, on the other end of this, you have former President Donald Trump's campaign. The former president is just after surviving this attempted assassination on his been back out on the campaign trail. And the Trump campaign has been notably a little bit more quiet on President Biden following this debate, a sign that maybe they really wanted to see him stay on the ballot in November. What more are we learning from the Trump campaign about how they're responding to this and also how they're preparing to now face off against Vice President Kamala Harris?
Rachel, literally, as you were just introducing me, we just got a statement from former President Donald Trump. I'm going to read the entire thing, Rachel. It's posted to his Truth Social account. It reads, quote, "Crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve and never was. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. All those around him, including the doctors and the media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now look what he's done to our country with millions of people coming across our border, totally unchecked, unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, and a number of terrorists." He goes on to say, "We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he has done very quickly." Trump goes on to end the statement, "Make America Great Again." Of course, the signature line, Rachel, as you know all too well. Listen, the Trump team in recent days, Rachel, you and I have been reporting this together, have actually backed off attacking President Biden because they see an easier path to beat Joe Biden. Now, all of which to say, as again, because you and I do this together, Rachel, we reported earlier today, our understanding at ABC News is that the Trump team had been building basically a just-in-case book to beat Kamala Harris. They've been doing research, some polling, and we know from our reporting.
So, okay, the Trump clan, well, sorry, don't. So the Trump administration has been preparing to actually go against Kamala instead of Biden. So that lets me know that yes, they have already been trying to prepare just in case Kamala decides to, well, in case the Democratic Party decides to actually jump on in and endorse Kamala. Because I mean, listen, look. The Democratic Party don't really have any options right now at this moment. That's the reason why they're scrambling out here, and they're trying to figure things out. They, like I said before, they internally, due to rumors and things like that, and these just been rumors so far, that they also do not want to really endorse Kamala. So it's like, of course, the Democratic Party is up shit creek without a paddle here, and they're just out here floating around, and it's this close to the actual election and trying to figure out who's going to actually step up to represent the Democratic Party, but they don't really want to do Kamala. So it's like, where y'all gonna find somebody at? What y'all gonna do? What are y'all gonna do out there?
What the French toast is there to think about?
What are you all going to do? Because this is getting serious right here. It's boiling down to the wire. This is coming down to the point to where the water is almost boiling out of the pot. And if we don't have any more water to add into the pot, then it's just going to be an empty pot that's getting scalded to death because there's no more water inside. Yeah, man. Okay. It's crazy out here. This is a very crazy scenario that we're in today's time. And that has ever been before with the presidential election. This is wild.
Rachel, they've already looked at how they would, take some of the past statements of the vice president, now that, of course, Joe Biden's endorsed her, and start to build attack ads against her. The reality is that this is going to be a bit of uncharted waters for the Trump team because, again, for much of the last 3 years, they've been gearing up for Joe Biden. So it is going to have to be a quick pivot. They are going to have to start to spend more money, especially on ads, which, as you well know, Rachel, a big bulk of Donald Trump's campaign cash has been used really for his legal bills over the last year as he fended off the cases in New York, the federal cases by Special Counsel Jack Smith and the investigations brought by Fulton County District Attorney Bonnie Willis in the efforts to turn the election there. I do think the other thing that I'm hearing from my sources, and I know my colleague Catherine Folders and you were hearing it as well, Rachel, is that one of the things they're going to do is attack Kamala Harris on immigration. But seriously, though, this is a big shock to them as well.
John Santucci, thank you. ABC's editorial.
Okay, so yes, this is going down here, whether we like this or not. This is very disturbing, very disturbing times that we're in. And it's not going to, it seems like it's not going to lighten up. Of course not. But yes, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. And they're going to have to announce something pretty soon here. I mean, at least the next 2 weeks. Have to give them that. At least the next 2 weeks. They're going to have to figure something out here. Time is coming down to the essence. All right. Let's keep going with this one.
Here on Live Now from Fox to break down this breaking news situation. So we're going to work on that audio issue. In the meantime, I did want to share the latest information with our viewers right here. And this is a social media picture that President Biden has issued on the social media platform X. And you can see that there is a picture with President Biden alongside Vice President Harris. What you don't see is the message that is attached to this photo. And I do want to read it to you in its entirety. President Biden on X says, quote, "My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do that." So I did want to share with you the message that is attached on the X platform, as President Biden has said that he is now endorsing Vice President Harris to be the nominee for his party. What's also interesting in this message, and Keith and I were talking about this just a short time ago, is the question as to whether President Biden would continue to serve out his term as president or if he were to step away. The biggest question, of course, in the past number of weeks has been President Biden's cognitive abilities, and there was a lot of that was called into question after his debate against former President Trump just a number of weeks ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But at least from this social media post that we're reading to you verbatim, it says that he will focus all of his energies on his duties as president for the remainder of his term. So at least from this post, it looks like he will not be stepping down and he will continue to play out his term and then endorse Vice President Harris at the Democratic convention right here. But I also wanted to share.
Well, okay, I could see how they don't want it to look too bad. So, of course, they're just not going to fully just kick his ass on up out the joint. I mean,
And what's the French toast is there to think about?
let's just keep this 100. But so, he served out, of course, the remainder of his term, which of course that's not that long. But the thing of this is, who's next to run for the Democratic Party? Man, wow. And then at the same time, too, they're going to have to, whoever's next to run for the Democratic Party as their candidate for president, then also they're going to have to rush and pick a vice president as well. This is something that, we have to really think about as well. This is all a rush job. Everything is being rushed here, and then at the same time, too, whoever gets picked to be the, presidential candidate for the Democrat Party, they still haven't had a debate with the nominee for the Republican Party yet. So it's all a rush job. This is being very rushed, is being very pressed on us as citizens of this country to have to make a decision. It's all a rush job, and any type of thing that you rush and do is you're going to end up fucking up. You're going to end up messing up stuff. This is not okay. This is not going to be okay to have to rush the American citizens to make such a choice on the fly like this. As far as the Democratic Party side goes, we see, of course, Trump is already in place. They try to take him out. It is what it is. But then, no, at the same time, too, he's already picked his vice presidential candidate to run with him, JD. And now we're in this situation where Biden is technically stepping down from trying to run again. Now it's like, who's up to do this and who actually is going to be the vice president? I'm definitely concerned about that side of the situation as well. Who is going to be picked to be the vice president for the Democratic Party as well? It's all a rush job. It's all a rush job. Ain't nothing fast but a car crash. And who wants to be in one of those?
Share this with you. This is what we've been following for at least the past 30 minutes or so. This is President Biden's initial letter to America, as he states, my fellow Americans. And he does discuss initially all of the progress that he has made and under his presidency. But in the third paragraph, really, it says, quote, "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek reelection, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision." And so we continue to follow this breaking news as we continue to fill you in on all of the developments. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be bringing in my colleague, Andy Mack, who is going to continue to hold on one second. My producer is speaking to me. If you let's hang on for 1 minute.
Okay.
So my colleague Andy Mack is going to continue our coverage.
Okay, so that's the end of that. Yeah. Okay, that's the end of that. Hold on here. I'm gonna click over here real quick. It says Obama no endorsement of. So let's go here. Let's see what's happening here. All right. Hold on. Oh Jesus. Okay. Come on with it. Come on with it. All right. Let's
True, Matt, as well. And we want to ask you, because I think a lot of people were watching the RNC over the last few days. Of course, the former President Donald Trump earning the nomination for a third straight time. His sweepstakes didn't really know coming into the week, picked J.D. Vance, who is just a junior senator, not a ton of foreign policy experience, or maybe not a ton of foreign policy experience on that side. Now, Vice President Harris, maybe is that something that she might focus on in terms of her own VP if she does earn the nomination? Do you think maybe someone with some foreign policy credentials could help her case, knowing with everything going on in the world?
Yeah, I will say, as a former congressional candidate myself, I'm not going to get ahead of my skis, if you will, and just assume that Kamala Harris is going to be the choice. There seems to be a little bit of pushback in the past hour or so where Presidents Obama and Nancy Pelosi have refrained from endorsing her, so it's anyone's game at this point. But I will say, in that scenario.
Okay, so Obama and Nancy hadn't endorsed Kamala yet, technically, okay? But at this point, it's like, why are they stalling? If Kamala is the only person that they have in place right now to actually step up, why are they stalling? And that's something that's a need to know situation here. Now, okay, Obama is not, who are they going to pick? Who are they going to pick and try to figure this out? Because this needs to be figured out immediately. Like I said, this whole presidential election in 2024 is a super rush job. All this is being rushed upon us as citizens.
Where Kamala Harris is the lead and is at the top of the ticket, it probably would be best for her to look towards someone who, like President Obama chose Joe Biden when he was running for president back in 2008. Joe Biden was seen as having the foreign policy experience. So Kamala Harris certainly would benefit from that. Who that would be is anyone's guess at this point. And from President Trump's perspective, everything now in the Trump campaign is going to be shifting towards at least focusing on Vice President Harris. It's really going to be all hands on deck with regards to the Trump campaign. So how they actually try and deal with this, given so much uncertainty, given who the actual opponent is going to be, the people are certainly going to be earning their salaries on the Trump campaign.
Yeah, a lot to get to as well. And of course, don't want to get ahead of your skis, over your skis there. Still a long way to go. A very interesting DNC coming up in Chicago in a little bit. All right, Matt Shoemaker, thank you again.
Okay, so yes. Yeah. Let's just go ahead on and keep this real. Like I keep telling you guys, man, this is a true rush job. Seriously. And that's a huge problem. You know, that they're trying to rush everything on us with this particular election here. And it's going to be a shit ton of mistakes that get made, people that won't get vetted properly and things like that for the job. You know, wow, man. Wow. We're really screwed up over here. We're really screwed up over here, man. And it's sad. It really is, though. But it is what it is, though. Hey, shout out to all my subscribers out there. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure that you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.